gave me a year of trial and error is somebody told me this one tactic. And you see, 5 years ago, I didn't have a coach or mentor. In fact, I had nobody. I would actually go out during the day by myself. I had friends, of course, but none of them would actually join me because they were too scared of approaching women, especially during the day. So I would go out and learn one of the hardest skills you can possibly learn, and what's to make it worse is I was learning it by myself. But I realized one thing, and that is you should always have a coach. Always. This is one of the hardest skills you can learn, but the payoff is absolutely enormous. But if you have a coach to guide you in the right direction, then you move a lot faster. Because if you think about all the major thought leaders or the major sports stars of our time, like, for example, Tiger Woods, who's been named one of the greatest golfers of all time, one thing that he has in common to Michael Jordan, to some of the other massive sports stars out there, is they all have coaches. They want to master their art, they want to perfect their craft, then they always need to be better. I would like to talk to you quickly about a book that I read. It's by Dale Carnegie, and you've probably heard about it. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I'm a bit of a self-help junkie, so I'm always reading a book. I've always got a book in my hand or a book by the bed, and I'm always learning something. I'm always perfecting something. And one of the techniques I suppose he mentions is how to get people to like you is by being a listener. So opening up and listening to people. Because if you think back in the last conversations that you've had, either with a friend, a colleague, or a spouse, or even a loved one, if you think back and they were telling you a story, were you present in the moment and listening actively to their story, or were you in your own head relating to that story with your experiences or with funny stories of your own? And then were you waiting to jump in and tell your own story? So you find that a lot of people that listen to you or talk to you are actually not really listening to you. They're just in their own head trying to think of something better to say. And 5 years ago when I used to approach women, I used to just ask questions because I thought that was the way to get her attracted to me. Have you ever asked a girl what she ultimately finds attractive in a man? Because she'll probably give you some generic answer, something like, he's got to be funny, he's got to be confident, he's got to be witty, he's got to be a nice guy. Right? And when somebody who fits that profile exactly, like 100% exactly, he comes along and talks to her, she's actually turned off by him. She's repulsed by him. So it just goes to show that women don't really know what they want, or what they say isn't necessarily what they mean and what they find attracted to. During the day, it's all wrong. It's completely opposite, especially during the day. I found that if you do want to get a girl attracted to you, it's not really a 50-50 conversation. It's not really you asking questions and her responding and talking about herself. It's more like 80-20. So it's more like you talking 80% of the time and getting a 20% response from her, if you're lucky. So to talk 80% of the time, you need to have more than a conversation starter prepared. So you need to be prepared. You need a conversation starter. You need a few stories afterwards. You need a tight structure in place to get you in the door and to put your best foot forward. Because if you think about it, you have a social circle right now. You've got friends who hang around you and like you for specific reasons. So let's say, for example, the reason they like you is you're trusting, you're charismatic, you're funny, you're confident, you're spontaneous. And the thing is, it took your friends maybe a couple of weeks or a couple of months or even years to realize that you had those traits. But that's the reason why they're drawn to you. They're attracted to you as a friend because you have those traits. And if a girl you just met in a bar or during the day knew that you had those traits, she too would be attracted to you. However, she's not going to spend a week with you. She's not going to spend a month, and she's certainly not going to spend a year trying to find out about those traits. So that's why you have to put your best foot forward in the shortest amount of time. You have to convey to her as soon as you can all those attractive qualities that you have. You have around 3 minutes to do this. This is where the game gets interesting. You have about 3 minutes to convey all those attractive traits you have to get her interested in you. So you own the first 3 minutes. It's all about you. It should be 80% you and 20% her. And my second bit of advice to you is to take action. Go out and take some action. It doesn't have to be massive action, just some action. So you don't have to go out there and do 5 approaches right now. Just move a step closer. Just take a baby step. It could mean going out if that's the stage you're up to. It could mean just collecting more information. It could mean subscribing to somebody's newsletter. It could mean watching some pickup videos. Take the first step. So just imagine you're on a deathbed many years from now. Would you rather look back